Well, welcome back to OpenLine. Talking about a season to remember. We now have with us Vincent Sir Charles Bradford, the brother of Taylor Bradford. Also have with us still Marva Taylor Bradford, the mom of Taylor. And Tina Fox, thank you for remaining up here as well with Board of Parole. All right, I want to ask you, Vincent, we've talked about season to remember, how it's important. Have you been before, and what are you expecting to get out of this? What about that?
I have been to season to remember before a few times. I normally go with me and my parents. We normally go right after work because it's around that time. It's just another method of helping us cope. You never really get over the death of a family member. Just with time, you kind of learn to deal with it. Mm-hmm. And the season to remember definitely helps with that.
I'm struck. I mean, I've covered it, and I'm struck by seeing, as we've talked about, the number of people that are there. So you said this year there'll be 300. So you see all in one place the number of people. And how powerful is that for you to see all of the other people in a similar situation there at the same time?
It lets you know that you're not alone. Kind of sucks that we're all there for that particular reason, that we've all lost a loved one. Like you were stating earlier, instead of backing away from everything, that kind of brings it to the light that everybody is kind of like a support system for each other. Yeah, like the support system when losing a family member is like no other. Just having somebody to support. For example, when it did happen, our friends would definitely reach out to me. Family would definitely reach out to me. When I went back to school, we even did a visual, and I was in Kentucky, and it was just like extended family, pretty much. Just being there as a support system, not necessarily knowing exactly what to say, but you know, that gesture or that just, you know, that look of nod, like not necessarily understanding, but I understand you're going through some pain right now. I don't know exactly what to say. And that goes back to with the season to remember. Like I said, we're all dealing with a loss of a loved one, but us together collectively, all commemorating our family member that we've lost. I definitely commend the governors for continuing that legacy on throughout, because it's definitely helps as a cope mechanism.
And your dad was saying that there have been some remarkable sort of situations where people have reached out. So you all are in an unusual situation where, again, Taylor was highlighted in one TV show. I think that led to another one. Is that right? And then people have reached out. Talk about that. I think people, they don't know sometimes how to reach out. They want to help so much, but they don't sometimes know how. But I guess explain how it has helped when people have reached out.
It has definitely helped when people reach out to us. Like I said, when I went back to school, when it first happened, I tried to find something. I tried to be active in everything to try to help my mind take it off. I just lost my brother. But then with the kind of generous acts of people reaching out to us, it definitely helps cope. Like you said, with the first 48, and then we had the after first 48, and then...
So that was a follow-up, I guess,
that was
TV show.
That was a follow-up. Okay. The first 48 was originally, the first 48 hours, trying to figure out who necessarily murdered my brother. And then after first 48 was kind of like a couple years later, let's see how the family's doing. Okay. So, and that's when my dad, they did a piece, and my dad was, washing the car. And then a gentleman all the way from Wisconsin, we had never met before, reached out to my dad. Like I said, they talked back and forth for a while, and he reached out to restore the car, and free of charge. Mm-hmm. And that's a gesture that I've never heard of before. and you couldn't do nothing but get emotional and touched with that, because I know how that was the car was definitely a cope mechanism for my dad. And seeing my mom and dad sad when my brother had definitely had been taken from us, as the younger child, it hurts, because you never seen your parents like that. And they're your superheroes. And when your superheroes are hurting, you're like, that makes you hurt even more. So, but when Jim Harris reached out to my dad, fixed the car, and ESPN had caught wind of it. E60 did a show. It was in conjunction with a story on J.J. Watts. But seeing them going through the process, Jim Harris going through the process of restoring my brother's car, knowing how much it meant to my dad, knowing how much it meant to our family, and just seeing their face after that restored car came back, it's unexplainable. It's unexplainable. It was a joy, but also man, I wish my brother was here. But seeing my parents at that low at that moment, and then being able to have that high, it definitely helped cope with the situation.
It helps you see there is good.
Right.
In this messed up world, there is some good, and not all people are bad. There are good people,
right?
And that's important. And your mom, I want to ask one other thing. Your mom said one of the things that kept her going was realizing she had to be there for you. Did you sense that from them at the time, that was just how difficult it was? And you were talking about that, but that they knew you helped keep them going.
I definitely could see how they would try to be strong for me. Obviously, as the younger child, you look up to your parents, so I could see how they could see, obviously I was hurting, it's my brother, but I don't know. I'm glad they were there to be strong for me. But like you said, we all coped in different ways.
Right.
So.
But that is what you said, right? I mean, he was very important. Which is.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have about 3 minutes left. And what do you want people to take away? And I'll turn to you for this. What do you want people who have watched, who may be going through this, to kind of take away from all of this?
Share your memories of your loved one. Let that be your therapy. I guess the person that loves to talk is kind of speechless. But to me, memories are important. If you can share your memories of your loved one, I think that will help you cope even more so. I think if you kind of feel like, well, nobody wants to hear about them, and in a sense, that almost becomes your therapy as well. Feel comfortable sharing your loving thoughts of those persons.
And people are willing to hear, right?
I think people are. I really do. A lot of times, keeping it in does not help you share what you need to share with others. And again, I think it goes back to your faith, your beliefs, your sharing, your concern, and knowing that there's a brighter day coming with that. So don't feel afraid to open up.
Okay, that's great advice. We're going to take a break, then we're going to come back, wrap it up with some information about Season to Remember. Be back right after this.